Good morning. Pems listen to VOA, Japanese English listening material site. What is the difference between Vietnam Expressway and Japan? 3/18 wet, in mid-February. As the world was shaking with the new coronavirus, I visited Vietnam to investigate the situation at tourist destinations. Vietnam had 16 cases of virus infection at the time of its visit on February 18, 15 of whom had already been discharged, and the remaining one had been discharged on the 25th. Compared to Japan increasing the number of people infected every day, it was in a state of peace. However, even after the start of the Tet Lunar New Year, where both companies and schools take about a week in Vietnam, most schools are closed temporarily throughout February, and students were rarely seen in the Hanoi University of Technology I visited. On this visit, I was impressed that the measures had been taken much earlier than the sudden request from the Japanese government for a simultaneous school closure on the evening of the 27th. I ran on the road, so I want to tell you about it. Maintenance of expressways that progress rapidly. In Vietnam, the personal ownership rate of cars is still low and the situation does not reach 2% in 2017. As you can see from the familiar images of motorbikes running in a crowd in big cities such as Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. Motorbikes are still the mainstay of citizens' non-public transportation. However, with the economic growth, the spread of automobiles is also rapidly increasing, and in 2019, the production of domestic cars by a manufacturer called VinFast has started in Vietnam. Highways are also being built around the capital city of Hanoi and the central city of Ho Chi Minh in the south. In this visit, we visited Hanoi, from Hanoi to Vietnam's best port city, Hai Phong, and the sightseeing spot Ha Long Bay, and from Hanoi to south. I drove a part of the North-South Expressway, which is being constructed along National Highway Number 1. The expressways in Vietnam are numbered sequentially from CT.01. CT stands for Expressway in Vietnamese and is the aorta connecting the two major cities of Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. However, the CT.01, approximately 2,000 kilometers between Hanoi Ho Chi Minh Cano and the Hanoi Hai Phong Expressway are CT.04. The first run was on the way to Ha Long Bay, the most popular World Heritage Site for a day sightseeing tour from Hanoi. I visited Ha Long Bay in 2003, but at that time there was no expressway, so it was quite a long way. 4 hours one way using a regular road, but between 2015 Hanoi Hai Phong, 2018 in Hai Phong and Ha Long, the travel time has been reduced by half to 2 hours. The maximum speed is 3 lanes each way up to Hai Phong with 100 kilometers driving lane and 120 kilometers overtaking lane. From Hai Phong to Ha Long, 2 lanes on each side with 80 kilometers traveling lane and 100 kilometers overtaking lane. Ha Long Bay is developing with the opening of the expressway. Ha Long Bay is one of the most famous tourist spots in Vietnam, and it is a standard course to enjoy the scenery of limestone rock formations and islands floating on the sea by boat. With the opening of the expressway, it is possible to leave Hanoi early in the morning and return to Hanoi after enjoying the sightseeing boat late in the evening. But you can easily return between 9 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the evening. It was dramatically shortened by, on the other hand, with the aim of attracting European and American tourists who will stay longer on long vacations. Resort development has progressed around Ha Long Bay. And not only many resort hotels have already been completed, but more facilities construction was underway. With the opening of the expressway, tourism development is progressing further. However, there were few tourists from China, which had the most tourists by country, so the cruise terminal and the inside of the departing pleasure boat were quiet. There are 2 service areas between Hanoi and Ha Long, and I stopped by one of them. Like the service area in Japan, there are a number of fast food stores that can be eaten on the spot. And there are also food stalls in the Korean fair, and there is a wide variety of Korean fast food. In addition, the construction of the store to be moved in is also progressing. And I got the impression that the maintenance in anticipation of an increase in the number of users in the future is progressing. The North-South Expressway that ran from Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh on the next day is a national trunk road, as expected, and booths are lined up at toll booths. And the traffic volume of the car was much different from the expressway heading to Ha Long. Extended to about 7,000 kilometers in 2030. Currently, the total length of the expressway in Vietnam is more than 1,000 kilometers, but the construction of more than 20 expressways is planned. And it will be extended to about 7,000 kilometers in 2030. Despite the fact that there is a railway network in Vietnam, the number of trains is small and it is not a center for people's movement. And transportation between cities are usually served by local buses. In that sense, the development of expressways is directly linked to people's lives. And enhancing the expressway network will be an important national task in view of further economic development. As an aside, I went around drugstores and convenience stores to procure masks in Vietnam due to lack of masks in Japan, but non-woven masks are sold out quite a lot here. And cloth masks used by many motorcycle users were easily available at street stalls. However, there were many fancy designs, and although I bought them, I returned to Japan thinking that it would be subtle if they could be worn in Japan. That's all. Thank you. Listen to VOA.